Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dinner Table Podcast. I'm Julie Barbaro. I'm here with Gabriella and Michael, two of my children. And today I think we should be talking about, I don't know, how to have a conversation and when you don't agree. Sure. What do you think? This is a delicate conversation, I feel. I feel the tension in the room.
Michael, do you remember Fresh Frozen?
This was not scripted. I didn't know she was going to say that. I go, let's go. Let's talk about it. We want to talk about it.
You think about Fresh Frozen.
Fresh Frozen is a made-up term. It doesn't exist. It means you make something fresh, you put it in the freezer, and you think it's going to come back out fresh after you thaw it. It makes no sense.
But isn't it fresh?
I think what happens is it's put in the freezer fresh.
Yeah.
It's frozen while it's fresh.
Frozen freshly.
And
These are the conversations that we have here at the Barbaro house at the dinner table.
We still talk about this. It's been like 3 years. I swear.
Well, we're curious what you all think about Fresh Frozen. And do you have these conversations at home, which are good because it teaches families to disagree in kind of a respectful way? Would you agree?
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Well, let's be real for a second. And I'm seriously, are all of our conversations at home like, oh, wow, we all sit at the dinner table, take our turns. Gabriella, you say something and Michael's like, well, Gabriella, I actually disagree with that. What I think is is that how it is?
No,
definitely not. There's no way.
So we have some loud people in our house, and then Michael, what do you like when there's something at the dinner table where you're pretty irritated by even that the topic came up? What is your reaction?
It depends on the topic.
Yeah.
And so on this topic, I'm a big food guy,
Okay.
being, Italian from New York and all, as you know. And so I get pretty heated in these moments. I get pretty intense. I won't lie.
And when all 8 of us are having this heated conversation.
Who are all Italians from New York.
Italians from New York.
Okay. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's fun when we have company over and we are in a conversation like this.
Mm-hmm. They don't know what to do. They're just going to sit there and be like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy.
What was your all big takeaway? I said y'all. You see that?
Yeah. Okay. She's no longer a northerner, folks.
What was your big takeaway from, again, Michael was outnumbered, clearly. And all of us girls talk a lot. I feel like you are probably the number one.
I love your talking.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And the big takeaway from how to have a conversation when you don't, and I'm not going to say an argument. Maybe I can say an argument. I don't know when it transfers over from conversation to argument, but like, what did you learn from your upbringing and how did you take it into your adulthood? Because now that you are around other people. Good. Usually Michael gets talked over. So
I know that's how it works.
Awesome.
I forgot what I was going to say. Well, no. One of the things you got to do is you cannot make these kinds of conversations personal.
Okay.
Because a person, when they have a conversation like Fresh Frozen, normally it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so for us to take that extra step and start bickering and arguing and fighting, it's kind of stupid. So you got to take it back a notch, even in your head, and be like, this is not going to last 5 years. In our family's case, it will last 5 years, apparently. But you know what I mean?
So keep it light in a sense where you're not holding grudges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be holding a grudge over Fresh Frozen.
So maybe do you do like a reflection at the end of the night? We had an argument today. I don't know what you guys do like at the end of the night when you reflect a little on the day.
I mean, I definitely do a reflection of just how my day went in general. I like to do that. And again, so looking back, like, was it worth it for me to put all this energy into this dumb argument?
Okay.
And then how can I do better? Like, what could I have done differently to avoid that kind of an argument?
I feel that's such a life coach question.
Yeah, I know.
I think I'm getting better at admitting when I'm wrong because I think I was really, really, really not good at that for a very long time.
Like, what do you mean?
Tell me about that.
I just like being right. And so I will stand on my high horse or on my high ground, whatever the real term for that is. I don't know what
We're here. Dad's not here, so you can say your terms wrong because he always corrects me.
Okay. I think it's on a high horse or like standing on a high hill.
It's on a high horse. I'm Gino Jr. What can I say?
No, but I think there's been kind of a development in my heart in that way of being like, oh no, that was a dumb perspective and I see where I was wrong in that. So I'm more able to be like, oh, okay, more able. That's not proper. I'm I'm more
No judging here then.
I'm able to articulate when I was wrong or when I was right, you know?
Mhm.
But I think when I studied philosophy in college, there was, I mean, our whole classes were kind of arguments because that's just kind of
That's how philosophy
is. But I think that there's a time and a place for feelings to be in the argument, and there's a time and place for them not to be. Because I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I also think that there are certain situations in which feelings or your like personal opinion or your personal what's the word I'm looking for? Your personal perspective on things. Yeah, like your personal experiences, like have a lot to add to the argument or the conversation, because that's often what changes people's minds, is being like, well, actually, I didn't experience it that way. I experienced it X, Y, and Z, or whatever it is you're talking about. There's more of a more heart in the argument, as opposed to just being like, this is the facts.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's boring. Like, I don't want to hear facts all the time. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I think that goes with growing up in a sense, right? And a lot of people don't have a space to grow up at home, you know, because like I say all the time, we are very controlling. So there's an argument at the table, we try to end it and stop it.
Well, it's because otherwise it's
gone for hours.
Same time. Snow for those of you who are Southerners.
Yes. At the same time, though, I feel like us parents, and I did this accidentally because I was just busy with life. I just let you guys argue to the point where you all figured it out. I mean, there are many stories that I hear about how furious you all were at each other, and I didn't even know about it. Sophia and Veronica come up to me and will be like, Mom, did you know we had a fight for like 4 hours? And like, I had no idea. I don't know where I was. I was here, but I don't know where. And it's almost like as a mom, I had to just let go of that control, even though I didn't do it purposely. I do it now purposely to let you talk it out.
Yeah.
And let you almost learn how to, we're supposed to guide you as parents, but not take over and to control everything. And I think I gave it a thumbs down. Is that part of the
You gave it
I gave it thumbs down. I don't know what Zoom does. It gives me thumbs ups and some, maybe it didn't like what I was saying.
Oh,
I'm not
wait,
sure.
can I make it do it?
But I guess what I'm asking you is, because we were so busy in the house and there was so much going on all the time and I couldn't be on top of what everyone was doing. Was that a benefit for y'all? Or again, I said it again, y'all. Was it a benefit? Or would you have rather me being more present personally to each one of you?
Do you want to answer first or me answer?
You answer first.
Yes. Wait.
Which one?
Wait. I think it was a benefit, because I think too often have I heard parents being too controlling or too whatever of this, and then all of a sudden the kid doesn't want anything to do with the parent in whatever situation, and that's more detrimental to your relationship with your parents and your siblings than it is to be like, just like learn to like let go. And I think if you didn't do that, I probably wouldn't be kind of where I am and actually like you. So it's like, you know, I probably wouldn't be in that same situation if you were always over me about like arguing or whatever it is, or whatever. When I get angry about something, you didn't just like, I mean, you yell at me back sometimes, but
of course,
of course there was like there was a freedom to be like, oh yeah, I also want to argue this with you, but you're going to just be right back with me. And it's like a reality there. But then even amongst like us, we're going to argue with each other, and you're going to be like, okay,
I think that's one thing, Michael, before maybe I didn't like that answer. I think when I think, because I went to school and I remember this one boy in particular, I cannot remember his name at all, but he was very funny. I thought he was very funny. And he would always get in trouble for questioning the teacher. He would just question, basic questions, and he would always get sent out. And I remember thinking that as I was raising you kids, and you know, we're homeschooling, and you guys, there's no raising of the hands, there's no question, there's just everyone's talking over each other. And I thought, my gosh, what's the other alternative? You go to school and you're not allowed to question, and you're not allowed to, I want to say argue, or just debate
yes.
back and forth. And I do think, in a sense, big families, they just can't help it. They have to do it. Like homeschooling, there's no other alternative, because I cannot be on every conversation. So that's what I was thinking. Michael, what do you think of this?
So just to clarify, you're saying, would I have rather you be more present to each individual one of us?
Mhm.
Okay.
You could take the whole conversation wherever you want it
Yeah,
to
I
go.
know. Dangerous topics. Here we
You
go.
have the power.
Yeah.
You cannot
It's an open
separate.
conversation. I'm not controlling it. You see
Mm,
that?
That's great.
I feel
That
like
was good.
it's-
That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, yes, it would have been nice. Maybe a little more one-on-one time when it came to this stuff.
Mhm.
But I say it would have been nice, but it would have been more comfortable. And that's not always the right choice.
Okay.
Because sometimes I think you do have to let kids be
Mhm.
kind of thrown into the wilderness a little bit
Yes.
and let them kind of,
Sorry, good to be
you know what I mean. You need to let them figure it out. You need to let them make mistakes. Oh no.
It's okay. Go, go, go.
The kids do need to learn how to fight on their own, in a sense.
with the swords, sorry.
With the swords and the spears and the
The
shields.
bows and arrows.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
she would have.
Like I'm picturing, what's that movie? Lord of the Flies.
Oh yes.
Yes.
That's a scary movie.
I think I traumatized you all with that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it was very young.
Just Gabby.
Oh, right.
I was very young.
And Jurassic Park.
I will not watch that.
The Patriot? What about the Patriot?
Oh, that was a history lesson.
That was
when I
a history
13.
lesson.
Continue, Michael. I'm sorry. Just, yeah, all
This
these-
is how the
all
dinner
these
table
memories
goes
are coming
anyway.
up. Okay.
When the kids learn how to bicker amongst each other, they learn how to get over it themselves.
Mhm.
Like they don't have to come to you for everything, saying, "Mom, this person did this to me." Like they get to figure it out for themselves. And I think that's what a lot of people today are lacking.
Yeah.
And I think we could have gone through that a little more ourselves as well.
Okay. I mean, it could go either way. And I think there's
Oh, I agree,
point
yes.
where, like, a lot of times where I see some of you guys, it's like, why aren't you helping me?
Mhm.
Again, I don't remember that's not that happened, but you know what I mean?
You're not helping me.
Well, like if Michael was bothering you
Oh.
and I wasn't coming to
Oh.
your rescue,
Gotcha.
basically, you know what I mean? Again, I got a thumbs down. What
Zoom doesn't like this, Mom.
I don't know. They don't like what I'm saying
It's
sometimes.
okay. It's fine.
I guess if I feel like sometimes we look at our past, we look at our childhood, and we either blame it all on how we are now,
Mhm.
or we're like, well, I had everything and I'm so thankful for it. And that's why, you know what I mean? I think we can see the difficult parts of our childhood and hold on to those parts and make excuses based off of that.
Mhm.
Or we can do the opposite in a sense and looking at the hard parts and saying, you know, that was a good time for my growth.
Mm.
And looking at all the amazing parts that you all had in my
Mhm.
house.
We're still in your house.
Still in my house. Yeah. What
Yes, was there a question?
I guess really what we kind of want to go back to the arguing and
Gotcha.
and even if we have, you know, amongst you all is one thing. And I think it's hard to let everyone talk when there's a big crowd.
Mhm.
But where did you both learn how to listen to the other side, even if you didn't agree?
Mm. I honestly think it didn't really start till college that I was like, oh, this is actually important for other things like in my life of like, okay, I'm going into this philosophy class about ethics and I certainly don't agree with the majority of everything that they're teaching or whatever it is. But it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to what the person says. And I know that I know the truth or I know what a better argument is, but I just don't particularly know how to articulate it or whatever, so and so forth. But listening to them like allows me into their perspective of life. And listening to them and with an open heart, not necessarily saying that I'm going to like agree with everything you say or take in what you say and have you change my mind or whatever it is. But I'm going to listen to you with an open heart because I want to receive you as a person who believes whatever it is that you believe, because you're a human being and you have beliefs, and whatever those beliefs are, even if I don't agree with them, like they were instilled in you some way, some shape, somehow, whether that's through past experiences or reading a book or whatever it is. I forgot the question.
You're good. You're going good.
But
We're good.
yes, and I think there's like a big right. I remember what I was saying. I think I really learned that while I was in college, and I think I was able to bring that more home. So now when we argue about things, I'm able to be like, oh, right, that makes sense. I'm wrong in thinking this, or I'm wrong in thinking that, or even just like recognizing where I'm wrong and apologizing to the other person, which I think is just kind of lost in our culture, which I really don't think I really learned how to do until missions, which we were like,
Yeah.
I did something wrong. Oh my gosh, let me go and apologize to this person and not just say like, oh, I'm sorry that I did this. Like, well, no, actually, I hurt you and I want to acknowledge that I hurt you
Yeah.
and let you respond to that.
Yeah, I think this is good, especially if you're a parent listening, that we get so angry when our kids don't see that they did something wrong and apologize. And it literally, I mean, Gabs, you're a great person, and you always were, but it took you till college.
Yeah, it really did.
And I have
It
to
really
say
did.
that because a lot of times we get so mad. We're like, say you're sorry.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, they might say it, but they don't believe it and they don't mean it and all of that stuff. But just, and it's a reflection on us as parents. And so we take it very, very seriously, very personal.
Yep.
So, you know what I
But I
mean?
also don't think that it's a reflection on you at the same time, because I also had to realize that for myself.
Mm.
You can't force someone to do something that they don't want to do, because they have their own free will and they have their own free thoughts and whatever it is. And if they don't recognize that they did something wrong, they're going to think that they're right. So it's not even, I don't think it's a reflection.
Thank you. But that's what we feel.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
That's
like, I'm just letting you know.
And also, it's the word compassion. I think
Mhm.
when you were talking, I was thinking that it sounds like, and you know, you get this with age, not with age, but with maturity.
Yes.
Is that you realize that we're supposed to be having compassion for other people. They believe what they believe for because of some kind of past experience that we don't know, we don't understand. And so, yeah, Mike, what do you think?
So going back to your original question, was when did you start? Was it start acknowledging? Say the question one more time.
Yeah,
Nobody remembers. That's okay.
Teacher's edition.
Yeah.
Teacher's edition. Yeah, I think for myself, when it comes down to being open to hearing other people's stories, that probably came to me halfway through college.
Okay.
At the second half of college, especially the last year or two, because I was so closed-minded in the sense of not that I wasn't willing to accept other beliefs, I just didn't want to hear them to begin with.
Right.
And so that closes off all conversations. You really can't do anything with that,
Yeah.
and there's no friendships to be made there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do. No, that's very wise.
You got a thumbs up.
It's okay. That was good.
Finally.
But I really, this is very good for me as a parent, but anyone listening, and maybe if you're a young adult, send it to your parents, because this is a good conversation for me to hear based off of that. We get so nervous, and I'm just going to tell you this, if we get nervous as parents that we're not teaching you all to have compassion for other people, and to, you know, you're constantly, I got a thumbs down. Did you see that? Yeah.
I don't like to talk out family.
It just, like we see you all argue and we're like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that there's also an example to be shown, because if you're not doing what it is that you are wanting to instill in us, and how am I going to know what the right or wrong thing to do is? So when you come up and apologize to me that you did something wrong, like that shows great character. When you go and apologize to dad about something, or when you guys are bickering and then you all of a sudden you are like, make up or whatever it is, there's a lot of like grace in the example to be shown.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, this has been a really amazing conversation. Thank you to two of my children for being here and having this conversation. And again, any topics you all want us to talk about, please send them. And we will all see you next time at the Dinner Table Podcast. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.